In a quiet town surrounded by tall trees and blooming gardens, there lived a woman named Clara. Clara had everything that money could buy. She lived in a grand house with high walls, shiny floors, and rooms filled with beautiful furniture. There were servants to cook, clean, and serve her at every hour. Yet, despite all her riches, her heart felt heavy, as if something important was missing. The source of her worry was her baby daughter, Mia. Mia was only 6 months old, but she cried from morning till night. No lullaby, no gentle rocking, no soft whisper could calm her. Her tiny face would turn red, and her little fists would clench. Clara tried everything she could think of. She sang songs her mother had sung to her, she held Mia close to her chest, and she even bought the most expensive toys, hoping they would distract her daughter. Nothing worked. The house was always filled with the sound of crying. The servants whispered to each other, worried about Clara, but they dared not speak loudly. She has everything, they said quietly. Why won't the baby be happy? One sunny afternoon, Clara decided to take Mia out into the garden. The air was fresh, and flowers in shades of yellow, pink, and purple swayed gently in the wind. Clara sat on a wooden bench under the shade of a large oak tree, hoping the fresh air would help. She held Mia in her arms, her tiny fingers gripping her mother's dress as if holding on for life. But Mia did not stop. Her cries were louder than before. Clara felt tears welling up in her eyes. She had wanted this baby so badly, and now she felt helpless. "Why won't you stop crying, my little one?" she whispered, rocking Mia gently. "I wish I could make you happy." As she sat there, lost in worry, Clara noticed a boy walking along the path near the garden. He was small and thin, wearing old clothes that had patches in some places. His skin was dark, like the rich soil after rain, and his eyes were bright and kind. Clara recognized him immediately. This was Sam, a poor boy from the nearby village. Everyone in town knew Sam for his beautiful singing. He often helped his mother at the market, and while carrying baskets or folding cloth, he would hum or sing. People would stop and listen, enchanted by the gentle, sweet sound of his voice. Clara's heart raced. Could it be possible that this boy, so poor and simple, could help her baby? She waved at him. Sam looked up, smiling shyly, and walked toward her. "Hello, ma'am," he said softly, bowing his head slightly. His voice was quiet, polite, and gentle. Clara felt a mixture of hope and desperation. "Could you, maybe sing for Mia?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I've tried everything, and nothing works. Please, if you can, just sing for her." Sam nodded, understanding the seriousness of her request. He sat on the grass a few steps away and began to sing. His voice was soft and warm, like a gentle breeze brushing past the trees. The melody was simple, but it carried a kind of magic. It was not loud or fancy, but it had a calming rhythm that seemed to touch the soul. Mia's cries began to slow. Her tiny fists unclenched, and she stared at Sam with wide, curious eyes. The red in her cheeks faded, replaced by a calm, peaceful expression. Clara could not believe what she saw. Her daughter, who had been crying for weeks without pause, was now quiet, mesmerized by the singing of a poor boy. Clara's eyes filled with tears, not of sadness, but of relief and wonder. She looked at Sam and whispered, I don't know how to thank you. She has never been this calm." Sam smiled shyly. "It's okay, ma'am. I just sang what came to my heart." For the first time in a long while, Clara felt peace. She realized that happiness and love could not be bought with money or fancy things. Sometimes, it came from the simplest places, from a kind heart, a gentle voice, and a caring soul. That day, in the quiet garden filled with the soft scent of flowers, Clara learned something she had never understood before. Wealth could not solve every problem. But a little kindness, a song from the heart, could do wonders. As the sun began to set, casting golden light across the garden, Clara held Mia close and looked at Sam. She knew this was the beginning of something special, not just a bond between a mother and a helpful boy, but a lesson about the power of love, hope, and simple kindness. And Mia, for the first time, slept peacefully in her mother's arms, soothed by the soft, magical voice of Sam. The next morning, Clara could not stop thinking about Sam. She had spent her whole life surrounded by luxury, but she had never met anyone like him. There was something pure and comforting about the boy's voice, and even more, about his heart. She wanted to thank him properly. After breakfast, Clara put on her coat and decided to visit the village where Sam lived. She had never been there before. The streets were narrow and dusty, lined with small houses made of bricks and wood. Children ran around playing, and the smell of fresh bread from the bakery filled the air. Clara felt out of place, but she ignored her discomfort and walked to the little house at the end of the street. Sam was there, sitting outside and polishing a small wooden flute. When he saw Clara, he smiled politely. "Hello, ma'am," he said, standing up. "Hello, Sam," Clara replied softly. "I wanted to see you again, and to thank you." Sam shrugged. "You already thanked me yesterday," he said simply. "It was nothing. I just sang for Mia." Clara shook her head. "It was not nothing. You made my baby stop crying. You brought peace to my home. That is, more than I can say in words." She paused, unsure how to continue. Then she smiled. "Would you like to come to my house for a little while?" I want Mia to see you again." Sam hesitated. He had never been inside such a grand house. But there was something in Clara's eyes that made him trust her. I can try," he said softly. Clara took his hand gently and led him back through the dusty streets toward her home. Sam looked around, eyes wide, at the big houses and the clean streets. When they arrived at Clara's home, the servants stared in surprise. They had never seen the poor boy before, and they whispered among themselves. But Clara ignored them. Her focus was only on Sam and Mia. Clara carried Mia into the living room and placed her in a soft chair. "Sam, would you sing for her again?" she asked. Sam nodded. He took a small breath and began a gentle melody. This time, he sang not only to calm Mia but also to fill the room with warmth and love. His voice floated through the big house, soft and beautiful. Mia's eyes lit up the moment she heard Sam. She reached her tiny hands toward him, smiling. Clara's heart melted. She had never seen her baby respond to anyone like this. The bond between Sam and Mia was immediate and pure. As the days passed, Sam began visiting Clara's house regularly. He would sit in the garden or by the fireplace, singing soft songs to Mia. The baby's laughter replaced her cries, and Clara felt a joy she had never known. She realized that Sam's presence brought something money could never buy: true happiness. But the friendship between Clara and Sam was more than just music. They began to talk. Sam told Clara about his life in the village, about his mother who worked hard to make ends meet, and about the small joys and struggles he faced every day. Clara listened, fascinated by his honesty and simplicity. She shared stories about her life, though she left out the parts about her loneliness and the emptiness she often felt. With Sam, she felt she could be herself, without pretense or fear. One evening, Clara watched Sam play with Mia in the garden. The little girl laughed and clapped her hands, chasing after him as he pretended to run away. Clara's eyes filled with tears again, but this time, they were tears of happiness. "I never imagined that a small boy could bring so much love into our lives," she whispered to herself. Sam paused and looked at Clara. "You don't need to be rich to be happy," he said quietly. "Sometimes, happiness comes from little things, like laughter, music, and friendship." Clara nodded, realizing how true his words were. She had spent so much time thinking wealth could solve every problem, but now she understood that the heart was more important than anything money could buy. From that day on, Sam became a regular part of their lives. He would bring small gifts from the village: a colorful flower, a tiny handmade toy, or a bright stone he found by the river. Clara accepted each gift with gratitude, not because of its value, but because of the thought and care behind it. And Mia, the little baby who had once cried endlessly, now cooed and giggled at the sound of Sam's voice. She reached for him, trusting him completely, as if she knew he was meant to be in their lives. One afternoon, as the sun painted the sky with golden light, Clara sat in the garden, watching Sam and Mia. She felt a deep sense of peace. Life had changed in ways she had never expected. A poor boy's song had healed more than just her baby's cries. It had brought joy, love, and hope into their hearts. And Clara knew that from that day forward, Sam was not just a helper or a friend. He was a part of their family, a reminder that kindness and love could create bonds stronger than money, stronger than wealth, and stronger than anything else in the world. Weeks passed, and Sam became a familiar presence in Clara's grand house. Every morning, he would arrive at the gate carrying a small bundle of gifts, or sometimes just a bright smile. Mia's cries had completely stopped, replaced by laughter and soft babbles whenever Sam was near. Clara often watched them from the window, her heart swelling with gratitude. One afternoon, Clara decided to take Mia for a walk in the nearby park. The air was fresh, filled with the scent of flowers and the gentle sound of birds singing. Sam followed them, holding Mia's small blanket and a few toys. As they walked, Clara realized how much she had come to trust the boy. His presence was calming, not only for Mia but also for her. She felt a sense of peace she had never experienced before. But trust is sometimes tested in unexpected ways. That day, as they passed the fountain in the park, a gust of wind blew the blanket from Sam's hands. It landed near a group of strangers who were sitting on a bench. Sam ran quickly to retrieve it, but one of the men picked it up and walked away with it. Sam froze, unsure what to do. Clara rushed forward, her heart pounding. "Excuse me, sir," she called, trying to keep her voice calm. "That blanket belongs to my baby. Please give it back." The man looked at her and frowned. "Why don't you pay for it?" he said. "I found it, so it belongs to me now." Clara's face turned pale with anger and worry. "It's not about money," she said sharply. "It's her blanket. She loves it, and she needs it." Sam stepped forward, his small hands trembling. He looked at Clara and then at the man. "Please, sir," he said quietly, "it is very important to my friend's baby. Can you return it?" The man shook his head, but there was something in Sam's voice that made him pause. Sam did not beg or shout, he simply spoke with honesty and sincerity. Clara realized that it was not Sam's strength that mattered, but his courage and the truth in his words. After a few tense moments, the man sighed and handed the blanket back. Sam caught it quickly and held it close to his chest. Mia's eyes widened when she saw her blanket again, and she reached for it with tiny hands. Clara breathed a sigh of relief and knelt down beside her baby. "Thank you, Sam," she said softly. "You were so brave." Sam smiled, but his eyes were serious. "I just did what was right," he said. "Mia needed it, and I couldn't let anyone take it away." That evening, Clara reflected on what had happened. She realized that Sam was not just kind and talented, he was also brave. He had stood up for what was right, even when he could have been scared. Clara felt admiration for the boy and a deep gratitude for the way he had come into their lives. The next few days brought more lessons and surprises. Sam shared stories from his village: how he helped his mother carry water from the well, how he studied by candlelight at night, and how he learned to sing to bring joy to people around him. Clara listened, fascinated by his resilience and honesty. She had never realized how much courage and determination lived in someone so young. One evening, Clara asked Sam to sit with her in the garden. The sky was painted with shades of orange and pink as the sun set. "Sam," she said quietly, "I have a question for you. Why do you sing? Why do you care so much about others?" Sam looked down, thinking. "I don't know if it's special," he said softly. "I just know that when I sing, people feel calm. I like seeing them happy. And Mia, she needed help. I wanted to help her." Clara smiled, touched by his humility. "You have a special gift, Sam," she said. "Not many people have the courage and kindness you show. You are changing our lives." Mia, sitting nearby, reached for Sam's hand. He held it gently, laughing as the baby's fingers curled around his. Clara realized that trust was not built by wealth, power, or control. It was built by honesty, care, and love. Sam had taught her this lesson every day. That night, Clara watched Sam leave, carrying his small bundle of belongings. She felt a strange mix of emotions: happiness, gratitude, and something else she could not name. She knew their lives had changed forever. Mia slept peacefully, cuddled with her blanket, and Clara whispered a silent promise. "We will protect this friendship, Sam," she said. "You are part of our family now. And nothing will change that." The days that followed were filled with laughter, learning, and music. Clara found herself thinking less about wealth and more about love. She understood that the greatest treasures were not gold or jewels, but the connections we form with others. And she knew that, with Sam in their lives, she and Mia had found something truly priceless. The sky was gray that morning, heavy with clouds. Clara looked out of the window, watching the wind shake the trees in her garden. Mia giggled, clapping her tiny hands as rain began to fall softly on the roof. Clara smiled, thinking how much joy the little girl brought into her life. Sam was supposed to come that afternoon. He usually arrived at the gate carrying small gifts, but the weather made Clara worry. When the doorbell finally rang, she rushed to open it. There stood Sam, wearing a worn-out coat and a small smile. Water dripped from his hair, and his shoes were muddy, but he held Mia's favorite blanket in one hand. "You came in the rain?" Clara asked, surprised. Sam shrugged, shaking water from his hair. "Mia likes to be dry and happy," he said simply. "I didn't want her to wait for me." Clara's heart warmed. She realized that Sam's kindness was deeper than she had imagined. Even in the rain, he came to help her baby. "Thank you, Sam," she said softly. "You are very special." Sam smiled shyly and followed Clara inside. Mia squealed with delight, reaching for him immediately. Clara wrapped her daughter in her arms, watching the boy carefully. She wanted to make sure he didn't catch a cold. They sat in the living room, the rain tapping gently on the windows. Sam began to sing softly, his voice blending with the sound of the rain. Mia calmed instantly, staring at Sam with wide, trusting eyes. Clara watched the scene quietly, amazed at the bond forming between them. After a while, Sam put down the blanket and looked at Clara. "Can I show Mia something?" he asked. Clara nodded, curious. Sam took out a small, colorful box from his coat pocket. He opened it carefully. Inside were tiny wooden animals he had carved himself: a bird, a rabbit, and a tiny horse. "I made these for Mia," Sam said quietly. "She can play with them." Mia reached for the bird first, giggling as Sam moved it like it was flying. Clara's heart swelled with gratitude. The boy had brought not only music but also simple joys that money could not buy. She realized that happiness could be found in the smallest gestures. The rain grew heavier, and soon the garden was covered in puddles. Clara noticed Sam looking out the window, a thoughtful expression on his face. "Sam, is everything okay?" she asked. He turned to her, eyes serious. Sometimes, he said slowly, life is hard. People judge you for being poor. They don't understand you. But when I'm here, with Mia and you, it feels safe. Clara's heart ached at his words. She had never thought about how difficult Sam's life must be. You don't have to worry here, she said gently. You are always welcome. Mia loves you, and so do I. Sam smiled, a little brighter now. Thank you, he whispered. I feel happy here. Really happy. As the rain continued, Clara realized that the boy had taught her a valuable lesson. True friendship and love were not measured by wealth or possessions. They were measured by kindness, courage, and the care one shows to others. Sam had shown her that in so many ways, through his singing, his gifts, and his gentle heart. By evening, the rain slowed to a soft drizzle. Clara prepared tea, and they sat together in the cozy living room. Mia played with the wooden animals, Sam hummed a quiet melody, and Clara felt a sense of peace she had not known for years. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Clara opened it to see one of the wealthy neighbors standing there, frowning. Clara, he said sharply, why is that boy here again? He does not belong in this house. It is not proper. Clara felt her cheeks flush. She had expected this. He is welcome here, she said firmly. Mia loves him. He is kind, honest, and brave. That is what matters, not wealth or social rules. The neighbor frowned but said nothing more. He left, muttering under his breath. Clara closed the door and turned to Sam. Don't let anyone make you feel unwelcome, she said gently. You belong here, with us. Sam nodded, understanding. I'm not afraid, he said simply. I care about Mia, and I trust you. Clara felt a warmth in her heart. She realized that sometimes, the world could be harsh, but love and trust could create a safe place. In that rainy afternoon, with Mia giggling and Sam by her side, Clara knew that no storm outside could touch the peace they had built inside. As night fell, the rain stopped completely. Clara tucked Mia into bed and watched as she drifted into sleep, clutching one of the small wooden animals Sam had given her. Sam sat nearby, quietly humming a soft tune. Clara felt a deep gratitude for the boy who had come into their lives, changing it in ways she could never have imagined. That night, Clara whispered a promise to herself: she would protect this friendship, nurture it, and never let the world take it away. For in Sam, she had found more than a helper or a friend. She had found a piece of her heart she didn't know was missing. The sun was shining brightly, and the streets of the village were busy with people selling fruits, vegetables, and small handmade goods. Sam walked alongside Clara, carrying Mia in his arms. Clara held a small basket of supplies for the baby, and Mia babbled happily, reaching for everything she could see. Sam had grown used to visiting Clara's house, but this was his first time walking through the village with her. People stared, some with curiosity, others with disbelief. Clara noticed it but did not care. Today, she wanted to see Sam's world and understand the life he came from. They stopped at Sam's small home. His mother, Lena, greeted them warmly. She was tired from a long day of work but smiled when she saw Sam holding Mia. You've made her happy, Sam, Clara said quietly. She loves your singing. Lena nodded. He has a kind heart, she said softly. But the world is not always kind. You must take care of each other. Clara looked at Sam, feeling the weight of Lena's words. She realized that, although their lives had grown connected, challenges could come from anywhere. Sam understood this too. His face was serious as he nodded. That afternoon, they walked to the small marketplace where Sam often helped his mother. As they moved through the crowd, a merchant called out sharply, "Why is this rich lady walking with a poor boy? Don't you know your place?" Clara stopped and looked at him calmly. "I do not care about place," she said firmly. What matters is kindness, honesty, and love. This boy is part of our family. The merchant frowned and muttered something under his breath before walking away. Sam looked down, worried. Clara. I didn't want trouble, he said softly. Clara smiled gently and held his hand. You didn't cause trouble. You are brave, and I am proud of you. Sometimes, people do not understand what is good. They continued walking, but soon Mia began to fuss. She had dropped her small toy, and it rolled into a muddy puddle. Sam quickly picked it up and wiped it clean, singing softly to calm her. Mia laughed, reaching for him again. Clara watched, realizing how much Sam's presence brought joy to their little family. Later, they visited the small school where Sam studied. Children ran around, playing games, while a teacher wrote letters on a blackboard. Sam introduced Clara to the teacher, who smiled warmly at the rich woman. Sam speaks highly of you, the teacher said. He says you care for Mia and for him. Clara nodded. I do, she said. He is an important part of our lives. The teacher looked at Sam. Remember, Sam, life will test you, he said kindly. But you have a good heart, and that is the most important thing. That evening, as they returned home, Sam seemed quieter than usual. Clara noticed it and asked softly, Are you okay, Sam? He nodded slowly. Yes. I just worry sometimes. People in the village may not like what I do here. Some may think I am leaving them or forgetting where I come from. Clara stopped walking and looked at him seriously. Sam, being kind and doing the right thing does not mean you forget where you come from. It means you carry your heart with you wherever you go. You are not abandoning anyone. You are simply spreading goodness. Sam's eyes brightened slightly. I never thought of it like that, he said quietly. When they reached Clara's house, Mia ran ahead to the garden, laughing. Sam followed, carrying a small basket with flowers he had picked along the way. Clara watched as the boy and her daughter played, the sunlight catching on their smiles. She realized that challenges would always come, people who judged, problems that tested their courage, but love and trust could overcome them. That night, Clara sat by the fireplace with Sam. She handed him a cup of warm milk, and he accepted it gratefully. You are growing so much, Sam, Clara said softly. I have seen your courage, your kindness, and your honesty. I am proud of you. Sam looked at her, a small smile forming on his lips. I just want to help Mia, he said. I want to make her happy. That is enough for me. Clara reached out and held his hand. It is more than enough. You are teaching me, too. You are teaching us that happiness comes from love, not wealth. You are a part of our family now, and nothing will ever change that. Sam smiled fully this time, feeling the warmth of belonging. He looked at Mia, who was sleeping peacefully in her crib, clutching one of his wooden toys. He realized that no matter what challenges came their way, they had each other, and that was the most powerful thing in the world. Clara whispered softly to herself, watching Sam and Mia together, this bond is precious. I will protect it forever. Outside, the moon rose, casting silver light over the house. Inside, the home was filled with warmth, laughter, and the promise of a future built on trust, kindness, and love. The days had grown warmer, and the garden of Clara's house was filled with colorful flowers swaying gently in the breeze. Mia laughed and ran across the soft grass, her tiny feet leaving small prints in the soil. Sam followed closely, carrying a small basket of wildflowers he had picked from the nearby meadow. Clara watched them from the porch, her heart full of happiness and gratitude. Sam had become more than a friend, he was part of their family. Every day, he brought joy into their lives not just through his singing, but through his gentle words, his small acts of kindness, and the courage he showed even in simple things. Clara realized that the richness of life was not measured by money, but by the love and trust shared between people. One afternoon, Clara decided to spend time with Sam in the garden. "Sam," she said softly, "I want to thank you properly for everything you've done for Mia and me. You have brought peace and joy to our lives, and I feel lucky to know you." Sam looked down, shyly touching the edge of the basket in his hands. "You don't need to thank me," he said. "I just like to help Mia. She makes me happy too." Clara smiled. "Even so, I want to give you something," she said, walking inside and returning with a small notebook and a box of colored pencils. "This is for you, Sam. You can draw or write songs, or anything you want. I hope it brings you joy." Sam's eyes widened with surprise. "For me?" he asked softly. "But, it's beautiful. I don't have things like this." Clara nodded. "You deserve it. You have a special heart, Sam. Don't forget that." Sam held the notebook carefully, as if it were the most precious thing in the world. "Thank you, Clara," he whispered. "I will treasure it." That evening, after Mia had gone to bed, Sam sat on the porch with the notebook on his lap. He opened it carefully and began to sketch small pictures of the garden, the flowers, and even Mia laughing in his arms. Each line was drawn with care, each color chosen thoughtfully. He felt proud, not because of skill, but because the gift from Clara had made him feel valued and loved. The next morning, Sam decided to sing a new song he had written, inspired by Clara, Mia, and the peaceful life they shared together. He stood in the garden, and his voice rose gently, soft as the morning breeze. Mia stopped playing and listened, her eyes wide and sparkling. Clara stood nearby, tears forming in her eyes. The song was simple, yet filled with emotion. It spoke of love, hope, and the beauty of small, meaningful moments in life. As Sam sang, Clara realized something important. True gifts were not measured by size or price, but by the heart behind them. Sam's song, his sketches, his care for Mia, these were gifts more valuable than any treasure in the world. Days turned into weeks, and the bond between Clara, Mia, and Sam grew stronger. Clara began spending more time with Sam, teaching him things she knew and learning from him in return. She learned how simple joys could bring lasting happiness, how kindness could solve problems that money never could, and how courage came in quiet, humble acts every day. One afternoon, Clara noticed Sam sitting quietly under the oak tree, looking thoughtful. "What are you thinking about, Sam?" she asked. Sam looked up. "I was thinking. Mia will grow up one day. And I want her to remember what it feels like to be loved and cared for, no matter who she meets in the world. I want her to know that kindness is more important than anything else." Clara felt a lump in her throat. She realized that Sam, though young and poor, had wisdom beyond his years. "You are teaching us all," she said softly. "We are lucky to have you in our lives." That evening, as the sun set and painted the sky with shades of gold and pink, Clara tucked Mia into bed. Sam stood nearby, quietly humming a gentle tune. Clara watched them, her heart full. She knew that the bond they shared was rare and precious. It was built on trust, love, and the courage to care for one another, even when the world seemed unfair. Sam handed Mia a small wooden bird he had carved, placing it gently in her tiny hands. She giggled and hugged it close, her eyes shining with happiness. Clara smiled, realizing that these small moments, simple, pure, and heartfelt, were the treasures that made life meaningful. As night fell, Clara sat with Sam by the fireplace. The room was warm, and the soft glow of the lamp highlighted the peace in their faces. "Sam," Clara said, her voice gentle, "you are more than a friend. You are family. And I will always protect this bond we share." Sam looked at her and smiled softly. "I know," he said. "I feel the same. Mia, you, and this home, it is my family too. Clara felt tears of joy and gratitude welling up. In that quiet night, she realized something she had never known before: love, trust, and kindness were the greatest gifts of all. Money could buy comfort, but only a good heart could bring happiness, hope, and lasting joy. And as the fire crackled and Mia slept peacefully, Clara knew that no matter what challenges came in the future, they would face them together, with courage, love, and the strength of their hearts. Spring had arrived, filling the garden with the scent of fresh flowers and the soft hum of bees. The sun shone warmly, casting golden light over Clara's home. Mia ran across the lawn, laughing, as Sam followed closely, carrying a small basket of daisies he had picked from the meadow. Clara watched them from the porch, her heart full of joy. It had been months since Sam had first come into their lives. In that time, he had become more than a friend, he was family. Every day, he brought happiness and comfort to Clara and Mia, teaching them lessons about love, kindness, and courage. Clara realized that the wealth she had once treasured was nothing compared to the richness of a heart full of care and honesty. One afternoon, Clara invited Sam to sit with her under the large oak tree in the garden. Mia played nearby with a small wooden horse Sam had carved. "Sam," Clara said gently, "I want to tell you something. You have changed our lives in ways I cannot explain. You brought joy to Mia, peace to me, and a love I didn't know I had. I want you to always feel like you belong here." Sam looked at her, a shy smile forming on his face. "I do belong here," he said softly. "Mia, you, and this home, it is my family now. I will always care for you." Clara felt tears welling up in her eyes. She had never met anyone like Sam. He was young, poor, and simple, yet he possessed a heart braver and kinder than most adults she knew. "And we will always care for you," she said, her voice gentle but firm. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Mia toddled over to Sam, holding one of his wooden birds. "Sing, Sam," she said, clapping her tiny hands. Sam nodded, taking a deep breath. He began to sing, his voice soft and clear, carrying a melody of warmth and love. It was a song he had written for them, inspired by the time they had spent together, the laughter, the care, and the moments of quiet peace. Mia's eyes sparkled as she listened. She clapped her hands, swayed gently, and even tried to hum along. Clara stood nearby, tears rolling down her cheeks, overwhelmed by the beauty of the moment. The song seemed to fill the entire garden, wrapping them in a feeling of safety, happiness, and endless love. When the song ended, Sam smiled at Clara. "I wrote it for you and Mia," he said softly. "To show how much you mean to me." Clara knelt and hugged him tightly. "It's perfect, Sam," she whispered. "More than perfect. It is from the heart, and that is the most precious gift of all." That evening, Clara reflected on the journey they had shared. She remembered the days when Mia cried endlessly, when she felt helpless and alone despite her wealth. Then came Sam, a boy from a poor village, whose simple kindness and gentle voice had changed everything. He had taught her that happiness is not bought with money, but earned through love, trust, and care. As night fell, the three of them sat by the fireplace. Mia cuddled with the wooden bird Sam had given her, and Sam hummed a quiet tune while Clara held her daughter close. The warmth of the fire matched the warmth in their hearts. Clara realized that they had created something rare and beautiful, a family built not by blood or riches, but by love and trust. The following morning, Clara and Sam took Mia to the garden once again. Sam knelt down, placing tiny daisies in her hands. "These are for you, Mia," he said. "To remind you that happiness grows from love and care, just like flowers grow from the sun and rain." Mia giggled and ran to Clara, holding the flowers high. Clara smiled, knowing that their little family had grown stronger than ever. The bond between them was unbreakable, built on countless moments of laughter, trust, and shared joy. In the quiet of the evening, Clara whispered a promise to herself: she would protect this friendship, nurture it, and treasure it forever. Sam had come into their lives as a stranger, but he had become the heart of their home. And Mia, who had once cried without end, now smiled every day, surrounded by love that would last a lifetime. As the stars appeared in the sky, Sam sang one last soft tune for the night, a melody of hope, courage, and the beauty of simple, pure love. Clara held Mia close, listening to the familiar voice that had changed their lives. In that moment, Clara understood a truth she would carry forever, that the greatest riches in the world were not gold or jewels, but hearts full of love, courage, and kindness. And in that warm home, under the starry sky, they knew they had found something eternal, a family united not by wealth, but by the power of love.